What's going on YouTube? It is Beardless Ferguson here once again in Central North Carolina. Thank you guys for coming back to my lawn. Today guys, we had more rain last night. We had more thunderstorms come through, but it is quickly drying. We've got sun, we've got 60s today. We're able to go forward with spraying some weeds this Saturday morning when I'm recording this. So that's what we plan on doing today. Doing a little bit of spraying with our backpack sprayer over here and with some Speed Zone that we talked about briefly on the last video, as well as some Roundup equivalent, an Ace Hardware Roundup glyphosate equivalent. We want to hit some areas there as well. So thank you so much for tuning in today. As I mentioned, we've had a lot of rain here lately, and if somebody likes to go out and play golf with my father, it's not been a lot of that, a lot of cart path only when we have been able to play because of all the moisture. It's just still kind of moist in areas to the side that don't get a lot of sun in my lawn are really not drying up as quickly. And so other areas, it's okay. But anyways, we're going to turn the camera around. We showed some of the weeds. We're just going to walk the lawn. I'll have the camera here and I'll edit it the way you don't have to watch me walk the entire lawn looking for weeds. But we're just going to spot spray. That is there's two methods really when you're talking about spraying for weeds. We can spray herbicide over the whole entire lawn, chemical the whole entire lawn, which is not necessarily recommended. We try to use as little chemicals as possible. Let me say that. I don't say that a lot. We're going to walk the lawn just like we would if we were mowing or if we were doing an RGS spray or whatever. And if we see a weed, boom, we're just going to hit it with the backpack sprayer with our Speed Zone. We're going to do Speed Zone first, meaning we're going to handle some of these the weeds you guys named in the last video. I'm not even going to attempt to name weeds because I'm always wrong when I try to pronounce them or say them, but we got a lot of little spot weeds. So let's do some spot spraying. Maybe a quicker video, but then we're going to dump that out. We're going to get some Roundup in, and we're going to handle some of this mess over down by my shed as well, and on the edge of the wood line. I'll show you how I treat that. So thank you for tuning in. Let's do some spraying and some murdering. So again, we got our donated by GCI Turf Flow Zone Typhoon 2.5 backpack sprayer. We've signaled on here with our Sharpies. I've made marks of where 1 gallon, 2 gallons, 3 gallons is. We're going to use the standard. I'm going to use this standard zero. It's basically a straight down, just point. That came with the Typhoon, comes with the Strom as well. They come with standard nozzles. So I will be using a standard nozzle because we just want to direct spray onto the weed. We don't need to broadcast it out to the good grass if it won't hurt. These are the two products we're using today. The Speed Zone, as you guys mentioned, I can't remember the ethyl, the ester. There we go. The ester in there, you guys reminded me when you said it in the comments, is what is used in mainly cooler temperatures. So it is 60s and it's going to be 50s next week. So we're still on the cooler side of spring. So we're going to be mixing up about 1.5 to 2 ounces of Speed Zone into a gallon, and I'm going to walk around with the gallon. I don't know if I'm going to need the whole gallon, but we'll find somewhere to spray it in the woods or wherever there may be selective weeds out there. I'm also going to make myself go down and get a surfactant. If you're not familiar with surfactant, you know that waxy coating that can sometimes be on weeds. When water hits it, it beads up and rolls off. The surfactant helps to attach itself to the weed so that it absorbs the chemical and kills it. So we want to put a little bit of surfactant, and if you don't have anything, they say you can put a little bit of dish soap in there that will help it stick to the plant as well. And then I've had this Ace Hardware glyphosate. I've used it for probably 4 years now. We don't use a whole lot of it around here, but I do clean up the edges, like these areas right here. We would clean that up very carefully because you're right by the good grass. So it's a very, you got to be paying attention, but weed and grass killer, mainly I may put a little bit in here to clean up some of the edge. Every spring I try to do that. I spray the back side of the woods to keep some of the weeds at bay. And then also down there, as I showed you guys, back behind the shed. So we'll mix this up here in just a second. Let me get the Speed Zone mixed up. Again, all I'm doing is filling up a gallon of water, pouring in 2.5 and shaking it up. That's all we're doing. I'm not going to make you watch that process. And then I'll take the camera along as we spot spray a few weeds here in Mr. Ferguson's lawn. All right, so I won't make you again walk through the whole lawn, but things like this right here, we see these little clovers. We're just going to hit them with this little zero, which may not actually turn out to be the best. I may need to spray this or change this tip. I don't really have a Yeah, I don't really like that. It's like a straight line, more for like power washing almost. And it's splashing up dirt everywhere. Let's change our tip. This is the one that came with it. So if you're wondering, it's literally like a zero. It is a zero. It's a straight line tip. So let's do something a little more fan so we're not blasting the ground with dirt. All right, so I've got this little gold tip. I don't know if this came with the Strom or it could have possibly came with my my other sprayer I had a while back, but it's adjustable at the end. Provides a little round. There you see a little round spray, so we'll do it that way. So that is much better than the direct spray to the ground and splashing up mud and everything. There you go. We cover a little circular area there like you see there. So that's all we're achieving here. If you're like, I've never sprayed weeds before, this is what it is. We just want to give it a little spray, get it wet, make sure that we have the liquid in, and this is fescue. It's not going to kill this, but if you don't know, spray it. And if you're like, I don't like it there, spray it. And if you guys can see, we got a lot of this little clover here. I know I'm in the way with the shadow, but this little green, almost it hides in with the mulch there. We're going to spray that as well. That likes to pop up a lot in these weed beds. As you can see, it's all over in the front right here if you pay close attention. So I don't want to hurt the flowers. So I'm going to try to be real careful and get real close and not to make Miss Ferguson mad. Just get it. Hopefully it won't mess up our flowers. If it does, I've recorded my sins here on the channel. And look, for you up north, look, we've already got pollen. This pollen is already beginning to come out. Here's where this one guy was, right here. You guys see, I think you said geranium or something of some sort, Carolina geranium something. I don't know, but he's gone now. We had some of that last year pop in, and that was the major guy. I think I had some more stuff on the edge. You see some Poa annua here. And that's pretty much it. I didn't see a whole lot of these little broadleaf weeds. It's mainly some Poa. There's a little bit of clover mixed in there. And let's go up, and I'm looking at the edges, even right here in the cracks of my driveway. Any clover or any type of broadleaf weed that's not Poa. There's a lot of Poa on the edges, but I'm looking for anything like there's a little bit of stuff right on the edge right there. That's kind of what we're looking at. So we've got another one of these. I think you guys said, I don't know if y'all said this is the Carolina Dream, but it's got the seed heads. It's just another one of these type of weeds. I forget. I'm so short-minded when it comes to weeds. But we got another one. We've sprayed this. Also, remember, this is where clearly my neighbor's yard versus my yard. And we've got some clovers, the yellow, I don't know if they're dandelions up there. So just spraying down the property line. That's probably, if your lawn is similar to mine, where you're going to find the most weeds. Now, all of this I'm going to have to hit with the glyphosate because this is all Poa annua popping up in the rock bed over here. So we're not touching any of this, and I'm just going to walk the property line and not get all up in my neighbor's yard. But I do want to keep anything that may creep over. And this is not going to stop anything Bermuda or anything like that. If you're wondering, that's a whole different video. Bermuda grass is a grass. It's not a weed, though we consider it a weed in a fescue lawn. Here's a guy right here. You guys can see that guy right there. We're going to knock him out and wet him down. And I'm just going to walk across. It's so wet. And so I want to be careful. You know, this is a lot of Poa that mixes over here. This stuff right here, if you're wondering Poa annua, there it is right there. We can't touch it with this stuff. It's not going to work. It's not going to help. Wow, so check this out. Look, a random dandelion in my lawn. I don't think I've ever seen that in my lawn. That is wild. How the heck that thing came up, I don't know. But its life is over. So we got some wild onions, Speed Zone. If you have wild onions like this guy right here, Speed Zone will take care of wild onions. So I'm just going to walk this where the edge, I want the edge to be here. Now this, we can use it. So I might as well, I've got a whole gallon. You'll spray some of this over here. And just go ahead and let it stick to it. And it may even knock it out today. It may take it a couple days. All right, guys, so we've loaded in the grass killer. So we're dangerous now. Some of this will die with Speed Zone, some of it won't. So we're going to kind of do a line here and just kind of hit some of this with the glyphosate. And all of this was just washout from a rain night. It's all Poa annua that's germinated over the warm temperatures. We're just going to vaguely hit it. I don't want the seed heads. That's the point. Like, Mr. Ferguson, if it's not in your lawn, why do you care? Well, the seed heads and the wind are a bad combo, especially if the wind is coming from back here in the woods and it goes towards my lawn. Now it's planting Poa annua without me doing a dang thing about it. And I don't want those seeds this close to my lawn. Again, I'm trying to make sure I don't walk through this. I'm going to walk around this way, always like a loaded gun, man. I'm keeping aware of where I've got this grass killer. I don't want one bad pull of the trigger and you've killed that section. That's just a bad feeling. It'll come back, it's just grass, but hitting some of this Poa annua stuff that I know Speed Zone won't kill. And then again, like all this over here, it's just mess. You see all this just mess, and I just don't want it that close to my lawn. So I'm trying to paint a picture and draw a line, if you will, be very detailed and artistic. And the wind is currently blowing to my left, from right to left, so we're good. It's blowing it towards the woods. Now, technically, I should be using a wider spray for this because we're doing a wide, almost blanket spray of the woods, but I just kept this guy on, and I'm not, it's just something to really for the video to show you what I do. I may come back here when it's actually 70s and spring, and if this, a lot of this that lives, which a lot of it probably will come back. There's a lot of onions, just junk out here, as you guys see, just a lot of junk. So we'll finish this up, finish spraying our weed killer, and just clean up some of this wood spray. This is how I keep it looking a little clean back here, because otherwise it's like it looks now. This will grow up, it'll get weedy, and it just don't look that great. I like to keep this kind of dirt, you know, and then if we do some mulch under the place setter, I like to keep this kind of clean. And then if the leaves, they go away eventually, we rake back here and just kind of keep it clean, and you got that transition from green grass to dirt. I think that almost like an outfield, and the edge of the fence, you know, the dirt and the grass, that's kind of like, I guess I played baseball in my life, so that's the way I think. So let's clean this up and then we'll close out this video. So there you have it, guys. We kind of broke this topic of weeds, spring weeds, up into two different videos by accident due to rainfall and due to not being able to spray the last video. So we was able to spot spray a little bit. Again, there was not a lot to spot spray with Speed Zone, but we got what we see. And as we go along in spring, these little broadleaf weeds may pop up more. And this is just something you do when you're like, I need to get out and do something on this Saturday while I got an hour or so. You mix up some, you go in, you spot spray, you get to sit down in your house knowing you killed all those weeds. It makes it look a little bit better with more of the good grass and less of the bad stuff in the lawn. And then we've cleaned up some of our edges back here in the woods with glyphosate. I made sure not to walk through and trample through my lawn with weed killer on my boots. So be aware of that. Be aware of the wind. Wear your protective gear. Don't get that stuff in your eye. You see all these commercials about suing Roundup for cancer and all this. Be protective. Be very careful. As always, read the label, take the precautions necessary. And again, as always, leave your comments below your experiences with any of these products. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Hope this has been helpful for you beginners out there, for beginners like myself. And we just continue to try to have a great looking lawn. It's almost time to do another mow. It's just so wet out here, so I'm hoping it dries up so we can mow this coming up week. Thank you guys for tuning in this Monday. Hope you have a fantastic week. We'll see you on the next lawn care video here from Central North Carolina. God bless.